Peter 2.
Yeah, do 26.
7. This is the book. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 7, and it reads, and the eyes, 2 and 7.
Go on.
This is Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, and it reads, and Yahweh formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
So the camera cut out, weren't too sure where it cut, so we're just going to go over this again. So when it says it's breathed into the breath of life, that's talking about he gave the laws, statutes and commandments.
Right.
Matthew 4 and 4. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh.
This is how we have life. When we listen to the Most High, He tells us to do. This is how we gain life. Now this is Proverbs 7 and 2. It says, keep my commandments and live, and the law as the apple of thine eye. Now the precept I brought out earlier, which I'm going to bring again, this is Sirach 33 and 10. It says, and all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of earth. In much knowledge the Lord has divided them. Yeah? And how did he divide them? By giving us the law, statutes and commandments, and made their ways diverse. Some of them as he blessed and exalted, and some of them as he sanctified and set near himself, but some of them as he cursed and brought low and turned out their places.
Alright, so you had like, I was talking about Nimrod, right? Nimrod, he was like, his civilization, it was high and mighty, man. They had knowledge, so the Most High, he didn't give the knowledge to certain people, but he gave them the science. Even if you look at the Egyptian, they had science, man, they had knowledge, you know, but they didn't have the law. That's when these legal chemist guy come with that. Now we took it from the law of maths. It don't make sense. All right, he didn't, because if he gave the law to Egypt, they wouldn't be worshiping all sort of creatures. When the Bible says so, they don't worship the Creator, but they worship creatures. Them shut up about the Egyptian, man. Right? I have a precept though that we have to bring.
Yeah, I've got one as well. This is 2 Ezra chapter 3, and I start 4. O Lord, who bearest rule, thou spakest at the beginning when thou didst plant the earth, and sat thyself alone, and commandest the people, and gavest a body unto Adam without soul, meaning there was no law, statutes, and commandments. Which was the workmanship of thine hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life. So now he's giving him laws. And he was made living before thee, and thou leddest him into paradise, which thy right hand had planted before ever the earth came forward. And unto him thou gavest commandments to love thy way, which he transgressed, and immediately thou appointest death in him and in his generation, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number.
Can you read the first part again? The first part.
4.
The first part of what you just read.
And unto him thou gavest commandments.
No. I don't.
And thou gavest a body unto Adam without soul.
Thou gavest a body unto Adam without soul. Let me see how you.
Which was the workmanship of thine hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life.
That's right. So when you read that, you can understand that, you know, the Adamites, that nation, and you can understand how the Most High take now and try out of that nation to establish the new world order. That's the new world order, man. That's how you know that these elite, they just use the term and vibration that's already there. They didn't create that way. New world order. It was a creator from the time of Adam. You see?
Are
you okay, guys?
you right?
Good, man. Because you are not looking at us, I'm asking you.
You don't need to assume the words.
Not in the wrong way. I just want to say that this is actually what you see when
You got enough? I'm not.
I was trying to find out whether was going to speak truth. She went like that and I said, you know what? I don't even know. I want to sing the words.
I'm good. The reason why I just use the opportunity to let you know that. You know that?
I didn't know that.
What tribe are you from? You don't need to know what tribe.
Okay, that's not bad.
Twin Ashanti.
No, my dad.
Ashanti. All right. But Ashanti, if you look Ashanti, I think Ashanti come from the Bible. Because, you know, Ashanti was
I can tell you what God means.
one of the sons of
God means
Judah.
Proud.
And they're warriors. They're warriors.
Yeah, and warrior too.
We're God's chosen people. That's what like what we do. We come and teach our people that the Bible is a true book, but never been filled. That's a true book. And the reason why we're in the condition we're in, because we're under a binding covenant to keep God's commandments.
So I wasn't assuming the words are the worst. I wasn't assuming the worst. I was just see us. We use.
That's an opportunity to get your attention.
When you pass,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
didn't feel a bad spirit.
Yeah.
I felt a good spirit when you passed. So that's
So I want
when you said that.
energy, energy.
Yeah, the
I want
energy.
to inquire.
I would have loved to continue talking about.
Take it easy.
Yeah, let's get back in the spirit. That's me. Yeah. Allow my spirit to freely exercise whatever.
I want to say the word.
And the blessings.
Yeah.
All right. So what we doing now? We're 7, innit? You were saying something.
No, yeah, we're talking about the Lord, the breath. I'm reading the breath.
All right. So I say that when you read that, that's what you understand that He created Adam first with no law. Yeah. And we're talking about the Nimrod and that. They were powerful people. But when you read the other one, talk about some of them were exalted, some of them were made low. That's why you will see some people like
Set near to him.
just like they're just nature people. They didn't upgrade, you know, the mind. They just stayed around nature.
Exactly.
And then you've got us, the one to whom we're given the law. But then when you read about verse 3, read verse 3 again. Sorry, verse 7 again.
Okay, yeah.
Genesis verse
This
7.
is Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7. And it reads, And Yahweh formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul.
Right, so let's talk about the breath of life. Obviously we know that it's the word, but we want to precept it. Don't you see how it?
Yeah.
What was it? Wisdom 7, 24 and 37.
24.
Let's read it.
So this is the book of Wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 7.
This is Esau that is trying so hard to play our culture, but then he will risk at the same time. That's Esau.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verses 24, and then I'll jump to 27. So this is verse 24, and it reads, For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness.
Let me praise it. Yeah, I think it's that. Yeah.
Verse 25.
No, read it. Read from 24.
Read
I want to explain it.
Read it over, right? So this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verses 24 to 27. And it reads, For wisdom is more moving than any motion.
Right.
She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. Verse 25. For she is the breath of the power of God.
She is the breath of the power, and the most I love her so much that he gave it that breath as well, man. That's why we should really hearken to him. He loves us, man. He might have put us low right now, but he loves because he gave us something that he never gave to the other nation. All right, the breath of his power. So the breath of his power is what? Law. In the law, you got the wisdom of everything.
And the pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty.
Right.
Shadia.
Right.
Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her.
That's the reason why, as he give it a law, he say, for you to keep the law, my children, there's certain things that you shouldn't eat. There's certain things that you shouldn't do. Because that's what the Bible says, the law is perfect. That's what I was saying earlier. I was like, we're not perfect with keeping the law, but at the same time, we are perfect by keeping the law, if you know what I'm saying. Why? Because the law is perfect. So if someone that is not perfect starts to keep the law, he becomes perfect. Why? Because that law is perfect. So you might struggle with certain things, but you are perfect because you're in the law, you're in the knowing of keeping the law. You want to keep the law.
And
so
you're in the
perfect.
faith too.
And you're in the faith, so you're perfect.
This is 1 Kings 8:61.
Yeah.
Let your heart therefore be perfect with Yahweh our power,
That's
to
right.
walk in his statutes and to
right.
keep his commandments as at this day.
That's right.
Yes, like the brother was saying, you know, the way we strive for perfection is by us keeping the law, statutes and commandments to the best of our ability.
Yeah, carry on now.
Yeah, so verse 26. For she is the brightness of the everlasting light.
Right, so we are being of light because we keep the law. The more you keep, that's like the Proverbs 4 and 18. The more you keep the law, the more your ways become bright, you shine. So when the Bible says, let your light shine, it's talking about work on you keeping the law, man. The more you keep the law, the more, that's why we have to be real with each other. We have to stop the gossiping. Yeah? In Israel now, one thing we have to stop is the gossiping.
That's right.
If you got a problem with a brother, come and speak to him. Obviously, you use wisdom and use meekness and love to do it.
That's right.
But like I always say, if you don't tell him the truth and you keep it in your heart, it's going to grow, it's going to become a fruit.
That's right.
All right? So for us to the Most High don't like murmuring. If you go back to, what was it, Numbers 4:4, when they were murmuring in the desert. He licked them down, man.
Yup.
He don't love murmuring.
Yup.
We shouldn't murmur. The Most High is teaching us the way of being a man. A man speak truth to his brother. Yeah? They say, well, what's that precept about something is better than secret love?
Open rebuke.
Open rebuke is better than secret love.
And there's another.
Hey, just because we brother doesn't mean we're gonna get along all the time, you know.
Like the brother said, we do that in love. But some people like just diss you.
Oh, I was just about to say that. That's to the spirit.
You shouldn't these people.
No, but what I'm saying, the way they're correcting you is like they're disrespecting you in front of other people. They say,
It's not good.
open rebuke.
Exactly, no, it's not good. Like even me in the old kid, I got this, man. And the guy that this is younger than me, and I'm thinking, yeah, you might be older than me in the faith, but don't disrespect me like that. Look, if I speak to a brother that is older than me, I can speak to, but I'll never disrespect him to the point where he feels disrespected. But I'll speak my mind. I'll tell him the truth. So murmuring is something that we should stop, and gossiping.
It causes strife in
Yes,
the body.
it's not
It
good.
causes a schism.
It's good. It causes schism. It makes you an hypocrite. Yeah? Learn to face people and talk to them, man. That's you being a man. It's very important. Yeah, because if you're gonna keep the law, if you're gonna stop eating swine, and you're an hypocrite, you cancel that. You might as well eat swine. If you don't eat swine and you're an hypocrite in this truth, you might as well eat swine. Yeah? Carry on. 26.
Verse 26. For she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of God, and the image of his goodness.
Right.
Verse 27. And being but one, she can do all things, and remaining in herself, she maketh all things new.
Right. So the word is capable of changing you, man.
Conveying the soul.
Yeah? The word can change you, man. Right. Carry on.
And in all ages, entering into holy souls, she maketh them friends of God, Yahweh power, and prophets.
See? So that's the reason why at some point in the truth, in the body, the Most High will put the lying spirit on you, for example. Because The Most High ain't gonna reveal a secret to you if you're not willing to be meek, if you're not willing to be humble, man. That's why sometimes he will drop certain hardship on you. Why? Because he knows you better than you know yourself. You might not know that you have pride. Because sometimes some of the sin, they hide themselves among other sin. They don't show off like that, but when the situation arises, they will show you. So he put something in your life to break it. You might not understand why you're going through things. Trust the process. He knows what he's doing.
So it says trust in the Lord.
Trust in the Lord, man.
And
Trust
all
the
that
process,
stuff.
man.
I'm putting first in all
He's
things.
faithful like that. All right?
This is Proverbs 21:16.
Bring it out.
It says, the man that wandereth out of the way of understanding
That's right.
shall remain in the congregation
Of the dead.
That's right. So understanding is the most important thing. Brothers can know the truth, brother can know the precept, brother can be good speakers and that. But if you don't have understanding, you even create schism
In the body.
Exactly. Yeah, you create schism in the body, man. That's why, hey, listen, if I don't agree with something, I'll come to you and I'll tell you, bro, I don't agree with that. We can have a little argument, a brotherly argument.
That's all good.
But after that,
That's how you learn.
after that, we joke about and that's men, man. That's what men do. It doesn't mean that, look, you grew up in the East, you grew up in the West, I grew up in the East for
That's
example.
right.
So we may not have the same way of seeing, we may not have the same angle, but I'm sure we can get along. You know how we get along? I put it on the table. I say, yo, you see things like that, I see things like that. But at the end of the day, it's all love, bro. That's all it is, man.
This is Proverbs 4:7. It
Yeah.
says, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get
Understanding.
Get comprehension.
Comprehension.
Yeah, understanding of the word, man, it's very important. Understanding how to deal with a problem. Understanding how to love a brother. Understanding what a brother is. Understanding, because there's no point being able to break down the scriptures if every time you create schism wherever you go, you create schism because you're a hothead or you're stubborn.
And you've not renewed your mind.
You've not renewed your mind. You have to renew your mind, man. Look, brother can tell you, bro, you're too hard, trying to be something. Brother can tell you that, accept it. A brother can tell you you're too soft, trying to be more harder.
Exactly.
Accept it, man. That's what it is. Just take it. That's your brain wants you. That's what he's telling you. That what you want him to be, to go and I hate when I'm the only one that don't know
Your fault.
Have you noticed that? I've been in camps where I don't even know what's going on, but everyone knows what's going on.
About you.
Come on, you know what? Because they're picking up the phone and they talk about each other. No, talk to the brother first. Or whatever I tell you about, I tell him about you, I will tell
me
the same thing I told him, I will tell you that.
Exactly.
That I can deal with, but no, that's how it's supposed to be.
Look, we're commanded to love our brother as ourselves. So it's very easy. The things that I don't want for myself, I'm not going to do to you. And the things that I expect for myself, I expect to do to you.
Now, if you're a certain spirit, let's say you came from the streets, and you're raw, and you come in the truth and you're raw, but that rawness creates schism, and the brother tell you can't take it, then there's something wrong. If a brother tell you, yo, this camp, this is how we move, you're supposed to move with him. Yeah?
You move.
So that he can create a...
That's how we move.
Look at this. I'm telling the brother telling the joke. He's shaking his head. Because he never understand the truth. He understands it, but he doesn't understand how. Yeah.
Trust me.
But it's just like, just the joke is not like the way it's not true. But every time you feel like, there you go again. You know what I mean? Yeah, so when I move, you move. Not meaning like, obviously a prophet is not a yes man. If you don't agree with something, but that's the point. You might not agree with it, but at least speak your mind and say, I don't agree with it, but I understand where you're coming from.
Shalom, brother. Shalom.
Shalom, man.
Shalom.
Yeah. I don't understand the way you move, but at least I will try. Maybe I'm too rough around the edges. Bear with me for a while, and then I will get where you get. right? Things like that, or everything has to be put on the table. Because it's that time now where that hypocrisy and gossiping has to come off. We need to be men, man. I do something you don't like, brother. The way you do things. Now, I'll give you an example, man. I'll keep it real, because we have to keep it real, innit? This morning, the brothers, he come early, he took it from him, actually. So he's the originator of that. Go in and talk to people. Brother came, took on the spirit. So me now, it's not my thing, right? So they're talking to his sister, and that's the way of really taking time. And sometimes me, I'm not patient with his brother. So me and the brother now, we got into a little, it's not an argument, but he was telling me, yo, you have to do certain things. And I was telling him, yo, this is my way of doing things. But I learned from him. I learned from the brothers. They're very smooth with how they operate.
That's right.
Me, I can be smooth, but sometimes I'll do the roughness type. Right, but we spoke about it. He told me this is how I operate. Now I know how I operate. I told him this is how I operate. Now he know how I operate. But at least he told me straight, and I told him straight as well. That's what men do.
That's right.
All right. It's not keeping it in his heart where it become a seed, and then I'm not keeping it in my heart where it become a seed, and then we here in the same camp. Well, you don't like your brother. And sometimes let me tell you something. When you watch the cameras and people are preaching, it picks it up. All right? If a brother has something to get a brother, trust me, when I watch it, I'll pick it up. I'll pick it up. So let's be careful how that's why, and you know why? You can control your verbal language, but you can't control your body language.
It's subconscious, so it's generated from a different place.
You can't control, it comes like that. It takes you even, you might think but it takes you, so that's why if you've got something against your brother, before you come on camp, take him and talk to him, or call him. Yeah? This is what we're supposed to do so we can grow. Otherwise, it's going to become hypocrisy, and next thing you know, contention, and that's what creates schism. So this is the time for us now. So let's carry on. 7, we're going to now.
Hey.
No. So let me see.
It's just read 7.
You just want to go
We
down
broke
to
7,
21?
didn't it?
Yeah, we did.
What was it?
You want to jump to 21?
That's why I went to Wisdom of Solomon.
Jump to 21.
Yep. Okay, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 21. And it reads, And Yahweh caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his rib.
When he says he took one of his ribs, that's talking about someone of his own people. We'll clarify that in a bit further.
And closed up the flesh.
Meaning they came together,
instead thereof.
Actually, let me get something.
I'll get mine.
Yeah. So read that again, brother.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 21. And Yahweh caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his rib,
One of his nation,
and closed up the flesh instead thereof.
this is what you call them instituted, the Most High instituted marriage.
Mark 10, 6 and 8, all the way to 8, right? Start at 6, and it reads, But from the beginning of the creation, Yahweh, or the Elohim, made them male and female.
Right.
Alright? For these cause shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be flesh. Slakia. And they twain shall be one flesh.
And when it says, and close up the flesh, that was them becoming one.
Yeah, when you become one, you have sex. Alright? That's why he say, don't be a whoremonger, because every woman that you go to, that becomes your wife. Verse 8, and they twain shall be one flesh, so then they are no more twain, but one flesh.
So that's them closing up, both sides closing up the flesh. Read
22 is the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 22. And the rib which Yahweh had taken from man made he a woman and brought her unto the man. Verse 23. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bone.
This is now bone of my bone.
And flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man.
We're saying when he took a rib, that's someone from his own nation.
Start from
His
13.
own people.
You're 13 and 14.
Yeah. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 29, verses 13 and 14. And I'll start at verse 13. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh.
Right.
And he abode with him the space of a month.
I'm going to appreciate that as well too. Trying to confirm now. Yeah, you want to read it? Yeah,
This is 2 Samuel chapter 5 verse 1.
Yeah.
Then came all the tribes of Israel to David unto Hebron, and spake, saying, behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh.
That's right. So it means that of the same tribe, right? Same lineage, same tribe. So when you say, so first of all, when you read that part again where the 21.
No, 23.
Yeah, 23.
Yeah, read 21
Oh,
again.
21. Yeah, go on.
This is Genesis chapter 2, verse 21. And Yahweh caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam.
Yeah, that deep sleep is like a rest. Because think about it. Adam, he was working, but at some point he had everything. But the Most High saw that he couldn't be on his own like that. He needed someone to help him. So that means, you know, the Bible says somewhere that a woman is your
Help me.
a pillar of rest. Right? So that day, that's where he really chilled, because that's when the marriage was going to happen. So he gave him that rest. All right, that deep sleep. And one of the deepest that as well is like when you die, actually you go to rest. That's why you say rest in peace. So the different sort of resting. Which one is having a woman, a good woman, that is a righteous woman. All right.
Read 20.
Verse 20 of Genesis chapter 2. And it reads, and Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowls of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an helpmeet for him.
That goes back into what the brother was saying. Like, Adam had no one, hence the Most High giving him help.
Right, so that 21, when you read 21, and he said he put him in deep sleep, that was his rest. That was his time for him to chill and get into that marriage. All right, carry on. Read that.
Verse 21, verse 21 of Genesis chapter 2. And Yahweh caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs.
That's similarity now. So he going to take one from among his people, and that's how you know that we're supposed to go to other nations. And that's what they started to do in Genesis 5:1. And the Most High saying, my flesh shall not 6 and 1. I should not contain strife of mine anymore because of what they were doing. See, that's why Adam was the first example of how things should be supposed to be done until they fell into that sin. All right. Right.
Verse still in 21.
You can jump to 23.
Okay.
I'll make the point.
Okay, this is Genesis chapter 2, verse 23. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones.
Yeah, because they got married.
Yeah, they
slept together.
But no, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, meaning that they were of the same people.
Yeah.
So he further making that point, they're from the same people. He never took someone of another race. He never done that. He took someone of an old tribe. All right.
And flesh of my flesh, she shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. verse 24. Shalom. Therefore shall a man...
He was taken, when he said he was taken from, read that again that part, because it's a stumbling block for Christians.
Yes, she shall be called woman. This is verse 23, Salaki, by the way, of Genesis chapter 2. Just in the middle. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man.
She was taken out of man, meaning what? She was taken out of that family. She was taken, so when he said taken out, I'm thinking, oh, you know, she was, no.
It says rib in it, so that's how we were taught.
All right, and also it talks of the order. All right, so when you read somewhere in the New Testament, you say that because you say something about that where you say the man was made. No, she was made because of the men or something like that, right? So that's what it talks about the order. Like a man is on top of the. You know, I had a woman telling me, "Well, you need me more than I need you." No. All right, the other way around.
That's the wrong spirit anyway.
It's because these kingdom make you feel like that, but it's not like that.
It's in the Willie Lynch letters, by the way.
Yes.
So they reverse the polarity and put our woman over us.
First in Corinthians 11:3.
You know.
But I will have you know that the head of every man is a Mashiach.
That's right.
The head of the woman is a man.
That's
the
right.
head of a Mashiach is the Most High.
That's right.
This is verse 8. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man.
That's right. That's what that verse going into.
That's
All right.
Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man.
That's it. All right. All right. Let's carry on now.
Yeah. So I've got precept for what you were saying. So basically, Genesis 29 and verse 14 illustrates the concept that the brother's bringing up. And Laban said to him, "Surely thou art my bone and my flesh." So what he's what this is pointing out is that Laban is referring to Jacob in the same context as what's being brought out here. Yeah, it's kindred, brethren, family, nation, same people.
And today, who are Israelites,
That's right.
to whom pertaineth the adoption.
That's right, brother. That's right.
Who pertaineth the adoption?
The covenant, the giving of the law,
Everything,
the service of
everything,
God.
everything.